I fell in love with the Word of God. I had a hunger. I was only 5 years old, but I developed a hunger for the Word of God. So my Sunday school teacher would give me a memory verse every Sunday, maybe only 4 words. Maybe it might be John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. Whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. So when I come to the church next Sunday, I had to repeat that verse in front of the whole Sunday school. When I was 13, my teacher at school asked me to bring in my birth certificate. So I went home and I asked my mum, I says, can you get my birth certificate and so I can take it into school next day? I took my birth certificate into the school, and my mother sealed the envelope and I gave it to the teacher. But when the teacher did, she was opening all the envelopes, and she opened my one, and my one was different from other people's birth certificate. I found out that day that I was adopted. I found out that my mother wasn't my mother, my father wasn't my father, my sister wasn't my sisters, and my brother wasn't my brother wasn't my brother. And my heart was broken. I just cracked in two. So what actually happened was, I stopped going to church, I stopped reading the Word of God, and I stopped praying. It was too hurtful to speak about. I didn't really, I don't think I've ever discussed it. And my family, my brothers and my brother and my sisters, they never said, well, this is my half brother, I just was there as a family, like, nobody ever said, even they don't say, well, this is my adopted brother or nothing like that. But I didn't discuss it. My schoolmate, his brother was an ABA champion boxer in the army, and he opened up a sort of gym in Scotland, and he said, just come along here. He says, and it happened overnight. It actually happened overnight. I just sort of switched from light to darkness, and I was so hurt that my heart was broken. Right? I didn't belong, and I just felt that God had abandoned me, the whole thing, and then some nasty people, really nasty people, and they're not good, but they accepted me because of what I was doing. Like, I could handle myself in them days, and they accepted that. Like, I got arrested for breach of the peace, and the old-fashioned cells in them days. It was a sort of, it's like a door with a marble. It was a marble that could show the light into the cell, like, And I was lying there, and I said, look, how far have I got to go? And I was lying in that cell, and the duty sergeant came and says, we've contacted your mother. I said, what did she say? She says, no, you haven't got my son. My son wouldn't do that. I was living a wild life, like, I was lonely. I felt on my own, like, It was me and my brother, my mother and father, having sort of breakfast. And I looked at my cup. I could see the cup, but I couldn't lift it up. My focus was all out. I was taking a stroke, like, So I didn't know it. I didn't know I was taking a stroke. And my brother looked at me. I got up to move out away from the table, and I sort of stumbled. He looked at me and he kicked me up my backside, like, he says, and he looked at my face, and my face had dropped with a stroke, like, And he said, right into the hospital. And he took me right into the hospital that day, like, And that was it. My sister heard, she was involved with a divine healing evangelist. She got all the churches in England to pray for me. They didn't know me, but she got all the churches to pray. I'll tell you, I was in that hospital and out of that hospital. What they were going to do, they were going to take a vein out of my leg and put down my neck and all sorts of things that were going to give me surgery. I didn't have any surgery. Within 2 days, I was speaking, walking, discharged from hospital within 3-4 days. And it was only through prayer. That night, I dedicated and laid my life down to the Lord. Things happened. I felt clean. My suits were all stinking. I used to smoke a lot of cigars and alcohol and all that sort of thing. And God cleaned me up. The pastor said, "How do you feel, Rod?" I said, "I feel clean." God cleaned up my life. I'm more sober-minded now. That's part and parcel of my wife. I married a girl from East End of London, and she was so educated and so quiet, and she was an influence in my life. And I sort of settled down a little bit, and I feel comfortable. What I can say now is I feel comfortable in myself. I'm thankful for my family. I've got a wonderful family. I've got 3 kids, and they're just wonderful kids. I've got a son, and he's a company director. I've got a daughter, and she's got a wonderful family. She's got 3 kids, and they're wonderful. My son-in-law is wonderful. I've got no problems in my family. Nobody's been in drugs, alcohol, nothing. I've got a wonderful, wonderful family, and I've got a son down in Romford in Essex, and he's just had promotion. He's got a wonderful family, so I am a blessed man. God's got a plan for my life. I've prayed about it. I've asked the Lord for another 10 years. In that 10 years, I want to be used of God. And as long as I've got somebody to pray for, somebody to minister to, I'll just carry on. I'm happy. I don't want another church. I don't want to be a pastor again. I don't want to be a leader again. I just want to be used of God. I haven't got the answers, but He's got the answers. We used to sing an old hymn years ago. I've found the answer. I've learned to pray with faith to guide me along the way. But seeking the Lord, it says in Jeremiah, it says, if you seek me, you will find me if you search with all your heart.